Hi,
My name is Tracy,
and my name is Lynn.
and together
we are Bollocks and Ball.
We like to chat
And boy, can we chat.
about the bollocks and ball.
Mainly in our heads, but also about life in general. After all, it's good to talk.
Hello. Hello.
How are you this afternoon?
How the devil are you?
Do you know what? I'm good. The sun is beaming through this window and it feels so lovely to see some sunshine.
I know. It's a little windy, but it's good.
I know.
Blow the cobwebs away, as they say.
Just to feel a bit of warmth.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it?
I tell you, honestly. Here we
Long
go.
may it last.
Being all British and
I know.
talking about
Let's start with the weather. We like a bit of weather. Oh, it is nice though, isn't it?
Oh, it does make you feel better though, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a feel-good feeling.
It is. Nice top up the vitamin D always makes you feel a bit better.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how you been diddling?
All right.
Good.
Yeah. Same old, same old. Really? Not much to tell.
Oh,
I think I've done anything exciting, but I'm sure it would have jumped out at me if I
I
had.
was thinking you were going to come out with some exciting story then about, what you've been up to and where you've been and
No.
who with and
No.
no George Clooney or Brad Pitt or anything.
No. No.
Would it be
nothing
George
yet.
Clooney or Brad Pitt?
No.
Who would it be?
Johnny Depp, of
Oh
course.
God, you stupid woman!
Do you have to ask?
Can't believe I forgot it was Johnny fucking
There's
Depp.
only one.
I can't believe I forgot it was him.
No, I'm not a George Clooney or a Brad Pitt fan.
No,
Mm.
to be honest, I think I'm just not a male fan in general anymore.
Okay, do you have anything to tell me?
Okay, this is where we get deep and meaningful about the language and the stories we've been telling ourselves.
No, nothing exciting. What about you?
No, apart from I've been planting seeds.
Oh,
I've been out in my garden.
nice.
This is starting to look really nice.
What have you planted?
So what have I planted? Runner beans, lettuce, beetroot, spring onions, peas, cabbages, rocket, spinach,
Bloody hell.
carrots, and up in my bedroom. Oh, is that your bum ringing?
Yeah, my doorbell's just gone off on the backside.
And then up in my bedroom starting is tomatoes, cucumber and butternut squash.
Bloody
Oh,
hell.
and watercress. I'm having a go at watercress.
Bloody hell. We'll have some chickens next, are we?
Oh, I would love chickens. I've just not got room for chickens.
Can you have 2 chickens in your...
Oh, I suppose I
Don't
don't.
need a lot of room for chickens.
No, you don't. Well, I wanted chickens, but everybody said, oh, you don't want chickens because chicken shit smells. Chicken shit's really good for your garden, by the way. It is. You can buy chicken shit pellets.
But if you only had 2 chickens, they wouldn't...
Wouldn't shit that much.
No. Just run around your garden. Love it.
Pick up all my little insects and stuff so they don't eat me veggies.
Yeah, you should get some
I would
chickens.
like some chickens.
Do it.
I'd like pigs as well, but clearly I've not got enough room for pigs.
Yeah, well, do we have bacon then?
Well, you do, I don't.
Yeah,
But
but would we have bacon if you had pigs?
John would, yeah.
Yeah, get some pigs then. Like a bit of bacon.
John would, that's the thing, because we've talked about it. I would love
Oh,
pigs.
this might not be a conversation people like. I just thought we're out loud here. Sorry, veggies.
Sorry, big vegans? What vegans? Vegans and vegetarians. Of one, I am semi. So just, yeah. But he would, yeah. He's like, but the trouble is you would just want them as pets. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm not the one that's going to eat them. So, yes, I would still name them. But, yeah, random. There you go.
Anyway.
That's not what we were talking about with gardening and vegetarian and veganism and piglets. See, that's a story. We're talking. It's language and stories, isn't it? I have this idea in my head, this story I'm going to tell myself that I have chickens and pigs and
But you could have them.
I could. Just not in my garden.
Why not?
There isn't enough room for pigs in my garden.
Oh, no, maybe not pigs. Chickens, yeah. Yeah, chickens.
I know people do.
Yeah.
Random story, and this one is true. I've not made this up. When I saw a counsellor when my dad died, we got to talking about chickens one day. We spent a whole session talking about chickens, and he lived in I think it was Thomas Street by the railway where we live, and the gardens are.
I used to live there.
No,
I did. That was my first house.
No, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Well, there you go. That's a true story, that.
Do you know the true story? When I was out caring in the community, I used to go and see an old lady in Thomas Street.
That's so weird.
Yeah. But anyway, he had chickens. His garden wasn't very big. He had lived in an old Victorian house like ours.
I was going to say those gardens were postage stamp. My dad used to call that garden. Very postage stamp.
No, but so you are right. You can't have. So I'm telling myself that you can't have chickens because our garden's big enough. You're telling me that's not true.
You say that when we moved out to North Pevy, in that house, it was in our conveyance plans that we weren't allowed to have chickens.
Why?
Don't know.
Because of the chicken shit?
Possibly.
Or the noise?
Don't know.
Yeah, but you don't need a cockerel to have chickens, do you?
No.
Eggs?
It just said we weren't allowed to keep chickens.
Ooh.
What was in our...
I wonder why.
Don't know. Well, don't know when they were built. In the days of...
When
People obviously had annoying chickens.
Oh my god. I wonder why, see? I'm intrigued now.
See, my dad had racing pigeons. See, that would have been annoying if you had a neighbour with racing pigeons, I reckon. Because they would poop everywhere, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Mm.
John got annoyed. On Sunday, he jet washed the path that goes in our garden because it had gone a bit green. I was indoors tidying up, and then I heard, "Oh, for God's sake!" I was like, "What is it? Bloody birds just shut on the path!"
You ain't going to stop that, mate.
Why do birds always shit on clean things?
It's like they do it on purpose, isn't it?
I'm sure they fly over and go, "Ha ha! Look!"
But wouldn't you? I would. Absolutely every
If
time.
you were a pigeon, yeah,
If I were a pigeon.
I go,
Yeah, no. Not as a person. If I had flying powers, I would.
next time you come on, I think John's going to go, "Ah, for fuck's sake, Tracy, shut on the path."
No, look, are we going anywhere with this conversation?
We're going to, you've got some weird habits about shitting up my garden path.
Oh, dear.
This is not where we were going.
That's because we ain't got a clue what we're going to talk about today, see?
So you're just getting random shit from us instead.
Literally.
We were going to try and talk about stories that we told ourselves and the impact that the stories and the language we use on ourselves.
Yeah, we were, weren't we?
Oh, we've gone down this whole different route.
Yeah, I forgot about that. We only talked about that about 15 minutes ago.
We did.
Oh dear.
Oh my god. Mad as a box of frogs, honestly.
Oh, it is funny. I love the whole sort of stories and language thing. It's
Just mad, isn't it?
yeah, it is. It is.
All the time.
And how, like, we were just talking, weren't we, about like how people don't want to hear or listen to what they say either, do they?
Oh god, no.
No.
They so don't want to hear.
And I guess we're all a bit like that, aren't we?
Oh, yeah.
Because we don't, well, because firstly we, like, and I think we talked about this last time, didn't we? We exaggerate the stories. 'Cause
Yeah.
we love a bit of exaggeration, don't we?
Yeah.
Makes us all feel a bit better. And then we just tell ourselves a load of crap anyway,
Yeah.
which is not true. which is hilarious.
And that's it. And nobody ever wants somebody else to point out the truth, do they? Or ask that question, is that really true?
Yeah. Because it's very uncomfortable.
It is really uncomfortable to sit in that. And it's really uncomfortable when you hear somebody ask you that question.
Yeah.
Or kind of take it in that direction as to whether you're actually, saying the whole truth. Obviously, there's always an element of truth in it, but isn't it? But it's the bits you've added and taken away.
We blame the subconscious for doing that because it like deletes and distorts, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But actually, we actually do a lot of that ourselves.
Oh God, yeah.
Which I then think, which feeds the subconscious, doesn't it? Basically, because if we're telling ourselves that story all the time, well then that becomes
the truth.
That becomes our belief, doesn't it?
Yeah, because like you say, innit, when we tell ourselves the same thing repeatedly, the brain doesn't know the difference between wrong or real or fake.
No.
Which we've said many times before. So then it believes that that's the truth.
Yeah.
Because we've repeated that again and again and again.
Yeah, and then we actually believe that.
Yes. Yeah. We believe that that's the truth.
Yeah.
Until you actually sit down and think, right, okay, how much of that is actually true if I break that down?
Somebody says to you, is that actually? And we'll swear blind for a little while that yes, that's actually the truth. But if you're made to really sit and pick it to pieces, and I realised that, I can't remember what we were doing, but we were doing some work, weren't we? And that was a big realisation for me because I'd spent my whole, and I've said this before, I was sort of an angry teenager and very angry with my dad for different reasons. Stories. Hear them stories. And I don't know whether it was you or Asma or when we were doing some work with somebody, and it was like somebody said about the connection with me and my dad, and I said, "Oh, we didn't really connect. We didn't really get on." And somebody pushed it and went, "But you did." I was like, "No, I didn't." And I was like, I was adamant, like, "No, I didn't." And then that went down the path of actually picking to pieces that story that I didn't connect with my dad. We never really did anything together. And when I went back and sat with it, actually, I did a lot with my dad. I mean, for a start, all through growing up, because I was a real tomboy. Every Sunday, my dad was a goalkeeper till he was like 45 years old. I went to football every Sunday to watch my dad play football. Every Sunday.
It's funny, isn't it?
We used to go to my family once a week, me and my dad, every Thursday evening. He'd always, every year, he'd always take me to Bridgie Fair on the Thursday night, every year. But I went to...
But it didn't fit your narrative that you wanted, that you and your dad didn't have a connection.
No.
Because it was easier to blame.
Because I needed to be angry with him.
Yeah.
Because that, like you said, that was easier.
Yeah.
So I couldn't have that connection and be angry with him, could I? So it's... But I actually, in time, believed that totally.
Yeah.
Sadly. And it had a huge effect on our relationship. But it wasn't the truth.
It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. And my dad's not no longer with us anymore. I mean, had he been, I could have probably put a little bit of that right. But, I mean, that's part of the process, isn't it, as such? But I look back at it on now, and I have a better connection with my dad now, even though he's not here. But I can have that better connection with him because I've accepted that the stories I was telling myself were not true.
This is it, isn't it?
That's not to say there weren't still bits I was angry with him about. That was still there. But I didn't have that overpowering piece of having those stories that I was telling myself, which just added to my hurt.
Yes.
Because bless him, he's not here now.
It's not hurting him, is it?
No, but it was my hurt.
And I think that's the thing. I think we don't realise the impact that those stories have on us.
Well, no, because it wasn't until somebody made me really, really think about it that I even began to unpick it.
Yeah.
And realised that actually what I was saying wasn't true. And that's like, oh, that's really uncomfortable.
But it is, isn't it? Because I don't think, like you say, because that story fits the narrative for you and has for so long.
Yeah.
Unless that person had challenged you, you would have died still believing that same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, sadly.
But like you say, we don't like to be challenged because but I think that challenge takes us out of our comfort zone, like you say, because we become comfortable and we believe what we're saying.
And I totally believed it. I had to be challenged to then pick at it, to not believe, to not believe it, and actually to pick out what was the truth. I do, however, think there are also some stories where I've known haven't really been true, but because you've recited that story, you're not going to then go, excuse me, actually, that's not quite right.
I've been telling porkies all these years.
Is it?
No, you are right.
So,
you're right.
There are some that we don't realise, that we almost just get carried away and believe our own stories, and until we're forced to look at the reality, we don't. But I do think there are also stories that deep down we know are not quite true.
Yeah.
But because we've told that for so long, or even just believed that ourselves for so long, we don't question ourselves and go, come on, that's not really true.
That's the thing, isn't it? I think there is, and I think until you start challenging yourself in what you're saying, like you say, you just don't think about it.
No.
No,
it's funny.
It's just mad. It's for me. It's always like I've said before in a video and stuff like that about that one. I've always been a big person.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I've always been a big girl. Well, actually, that's not always been the truth. I've been bigger than I've been now, and I've been smaller than I've been now.
Yeah.
So that always thing is not true, is it?
No, it's that word, isn't it?
It is that, like we said last time, that always word, but because that now just rolls off, I don't think about it. Yeah. It just rolls off my tongue really easy, and I do it in such a blasé fashion.
Yeah.
But that blasé fashion in my head thinks that I don't. It's not really affecting me.
Well, also that blasé fashion means you don't have to deal with that.
Yes.
Well, I've always been a big girl, so I'm always going to be one.
Yeah.
So then you're putting those words always there. So it's a blasé thing that then I don't have to deal with it if I say that.
But that's true. It's just made me really think over the past few weeks and how I've been trying to sort of, like you say, take some responsibility for my health and stuff like that. Mm. But yeah, it's just like you say, that blasé fashion that I say it in, thinking I say that, but it doesn't really affect me. But actually, that's not true either.
Funny, isn't it?
Yeah, but like you say, yeah. I'm not bothered.
Oh, I think that's a really good one, that we all do that. Oh, yeah. Well, don't bother me, does it? Deep down, you're absolutely panning it. It's like, because it does bother you.
Yeah, it does.
But because you've always said that,
yeah,
you're not going to admit, do you know what, actually? Because how many of us actually do that? Well, do you know what, actually? It does bother me, really.
That's the thing.
We don't.
No.
we don't say that out loud, yet inside we know that that's true.
It's like you say, it's that whole contradictory nature. Like you say, with the whole, but also in a blasé fashion, I've always said my size has never stopped me doing anything. That's true. It's also never stopped me doing anything.
Yeah.
But so I almost, what's the word? I can't think of the word I'm trying to think, but I almost make it acceptable by adding that extra bit to it by saying, but it's never stopped me doing anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that then it's not an issue.
No.
So it almost becomes acceptable for that.
Funny, isn't it?
Mind you, saying I need to tell you this story. I meant to tell you this earlier, but I need to say this out.
Okay.
Yesterday, went shopping in a well-known budget supermarket yesterday, and I've got to say the worst of humanity was out yesterday. You know when you go in a supermarket and you're thinking, I really wish I'd stayed at home. It was like that yesterday. Well, anyway, and but definitely like the almost like people pleaser, don't say anything person came out until she got into the car park. But when I went through the checkout, there was a chap and his wife behind me. His wife was in a mobility scooter, and I was packing me shopping away as they're shoving it through the scanner at like 20 miles an hour, and you can't pack.
Thank you, Bob.
Anyway, and I paid. So he then said to his wife, "Go on through, out the way." He went out the way, and so she scooted out past me and sat by the window. And as I went to turn my trolley and walk, he thought it was a joke, and he went, "Wide load coming through." Now, no, she wasn't a small lady, but she wasn't as big as me. And I thought, fuck, is he saying that at me or at her? Because I'm not with her. I'm on that verge of going, do I turn around and tell you a fucking twat? And cause a scene in this supermarket? Or do I just like let it go? I was like, no, let it go. So I walked on, and then as I drove out, but at that point I'm like, do I go back in? You need to say, because then I go, oh, you've not said anything, you should have said something. And they were just packing up the car, and I drove, and I caught her eye and I smiled, but she almost gave me that, that help me smile. She was just like, fuck, do I just get out and rescue her now? And tell her she can divorce him? Because I was like, it was, but again, it's that language. He obviously thought he was being funny.
Yeah. But that's not funny when it's at the expense of...
It's not funny if that was the expense of her.
No.
Clearly not. And she clearly didn't find it funny, because I looked at her when he said it. So she clearly didn't find it funny.
Mm.
And if you said it, if he was aiming that at me, then I just think it's a good job it was me and it wasn't somebody else who might have just turned around and like lamped him.
Yeah, it's a shame you didn't say something.
I should have said that.
Should have just said, is that at me? Or
yeah. I wish I'd done that now. But I didn't.
Sometimes you have to question people, I think. You don't have to be rude about it.
No, that's the thing, and that's the thing. I wouldn't have been rude about it. But again, it's that, do I question it? Do I not question? Do you know what I mean? It's just...
But this is it, isn't it? There's no reason why...
No.
If you're in doubt about something, there's no reason why you can't ask and say, excuse me, was that comment directed at me or somebody else? You're just asking. Yeah.
This is it, isn't it?
But we go into a whole programming thing, don't we? Because we're programmed to believe we can't.
That's it, isn't it?
There is also the other issue that I think when we are totally comfortable in our own skins, we do question.
And I think that's it,
when
isn't
we're
it?
not totally 100% comfortable, all these other things flag up, don't they? Whereas actually, if you were just come to and go, oh, excuse me, was it?
Yeah.
Were you talking about me or somebody else?
Yeah. That's the thing, isn't it? And that made me think again yesterday. Okay, where am I comfortable about me? And do you know? So
Yeah.
And again, that language, the fact that I didn't use language to ask that question, or speak up, and it's really,
because there is a lot of anger out there, but when people are angry at other people, it's only because they're angry at themselves.
So, yeah.
Everything that comes out your mouth is a reflection of what is inside of you. So I think that just goes to show we are very much a society that isn't comfortable with ourselves.
Yeah.
Because we would be comfortable with saying things out loud, because we wouldn't be saying them in a malicious way anyway. It would just be a question of, are you talking to me, or are you talking to somebody else? But because you would ask that question.
Yes.
But when people aren't comfortable with it themselves, they don't. And then you get the people that aren't comfortable with themselves, and then it comes as an angry, like, are you fucking talking to me?
Yeah.
Which, then you're the ass when they go, no.
Yeah. This is it, isn't it?
Yeah.
So like you say, it's just really interesting how you do use it or you don't use it, or how...
But there's also an awful lot of programming in there as well.
Yeah, and how that, like you say, the language, like we said, isn't it? The language that we use is a reflection on how we feel.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't think, and like we've just said, unless that's challenged, I don't think we ever think about that.
No, because I think there's a whole generation coming through now, and they're getting labelled as being, what's the word? I can't think of the word. But the younger generation are coming through that they are more open and comfortable with themselves. So they do question other people. They do say out loud. But then they're getting labelled as, I can't think of the word, but they're being
challenging.
Yeah. Whereas actually, this is good, because people should be comfortable in their own skin, whatever that is, and be able to use those words and question other people. Question other people's language.
And I think that is, isn't it? And I think we should be able to challenge things that we don't necessarily agree with, but doing that in a fashion that allows for that conversation, for there not being any rebuttal for you not agreeing.
No, but this is the thing, isn't it? The only rebuttal comes from when it's uncomfortable for yourself.
Yeah.
So it then sparks out in anger. Then
it's like you say,
it's like a defence, isn't it?
Yeah, or like you say, you take things, you can't just have a conversation with somebody, an uncomfortable conversation with them, without, somebody saying that's upset me. But rather than saying that, people just don't take things on board and sit with it and work out why that, like you say, as long as it's not said in a malicious way. If you're just having a conversation with somebody and you disagree, you're allowed to disagree on things. Absolutely. And it not change your relationship with that person.
No, but when people aren't comfortable within, then it becomes, they then take it on a personal level. That's the problem, isn't it?
Yes.
So whatever language that is spoken in, then they are taking it in on a personal level. So then that changes.
And then that also changes. I know it does for me. That also changes then what I say.
Yes.
Because that person has said, I don't agree with that, or that's upset me, or that's made me feel uncomfortable. So for me, I know on a personal level, I will not then say what I would want to say and have a conversation with to try and help, because the people pleaser in me doesn't want to upset people. Do you know what I mean? Or and it's never, like you say, it's never done in a malicious way.
People It's like there's an old saying, is that people will hear what they want to hear.
Yeah, they do, and that's the thing, isn't it? And again, isn't it that with the stories we tell, we only hear what we want to hear in that story that we say.
Yeah.
And we only say what.
Well, we only see what we want to see.
Yeah.
Within that story as well.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's really fascinating that impact it has on us.
Yeah. Oh God, absolutely.
And we're never really aware until we're challenged on that.
No. And the like you were saying, the language we use within those stories has a huge impact.
Yeah.
You know, oh, I've always been.
That's it, isn't it? But that,
you haven't
like,
always.
I haven't always
that
been,
one word.
But B, also, because my mind doesn't know the difference between fake and real, I have generally, the majority of my life, been bigger because that's what I've told myself I've always been.
Yeah.
So therefore it becomes that self-fulfilling prophecy, like we said last time.
Yeah.
You have to be really mindful, and the only way of being really mindful about what you're saying is to really look at what it is you're saying and challenge yourself in what you're saying.
Yeah.
And it, like you say, it's uncomfortable, and so you don't really want to do it.
No, and also when you're challenging yourself, then there's all other implications, because that guy in the supermarket obviously wanted to feel a little bit of significance, didn't he? So he's then using language that makes him, he thinks, makes him more significant.
Yeah.
Actually, in the real world, it doesn't make him look that way at all.
No.
It makes him look a twat.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? He wanted to make himself feel better. Me and his other half just thought he was a twat.
Yeah. It's those rose-tinted glasses, isn't it?
That's it.
He put his rose-tinted glasses in that conversation.
And God knows what the young lad on the checkout thought. I didn't look at him. You know, but that's the thing, isn't it? You don't, again, isn't it? It's those flippant, blasé comments that we say that we don't realise the impact that has on ourselves and others, isn't it?
Yeah.
And our just life in general.
Yeah.
Especially if we say them all the time.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's such a complex mixture, isn't it? Of feelings, programming, the language, the stories. I love the stories.
But it isn't it? But like you say, until you look, you just don't think.
But it is really funny if you start doing it honestly, like we've said, just with that word always.
Yeah.
When you say a sentence or something, just to really think about what you've just said, because it's so funny. You go, that always happens. Does it every single time that happens? And you go, what? And this is a conversation you're having with yourself. Well, I know not every single time, but you just said always. You just said that always happens, so that's every single. Well, no, not every single time. Just now and again. So it's happened now and again. Well, it might have happened once.
That's the thing. So then it doesn't become a big deal, does it?
It's hilarious when you actually can unpick it yourself. And you think, what the fuck am I talking about?
But that's it. It's really made me
brilliant.
Laugh. You messaged yesterday, didn't you, going, what you've been up to? And I'd had a really busy morning. So I ranted off first, I've done this, and this. And I went to write, I'm fucking knackered. And then I thought, let me think about this. I'm not fucking knackered, am I? I feel knackered. I not am fucking knackered. I'm not quite ready for the knackers yard yet. Not quite. But it did. It stopped me because I went to type that and I did, and I thought, no, because that's not the truth. No. I am not knackered. I feel knackered now. I've just typed all that out and I've realised what I've done all morning. But I'm not knackered.
Well, they're the two biggest words, aren't they?
But that's it.
They like a bit of I am.
Yeah. But again, it's a blasé sentence that we don't have any thinking about what that means with the words we put out.
No, it's a blasé sentence about what we use and believe to be true.
Yeah.
Which is bollocks.
It is all bollocks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, honestly, I question stuff all the time now lately because we're doing it for the month. It's just made me really think about it.
It is so funny. So funny. You say so. And it's amazing what just comes out your mouth and you sit going, why have I just said that?
Yeah. That's it. Like I say.
Why did I just say that?
It's just made me really think about everything that comes out of my mouth.
But it's funny when you're listening to other people as well, thinking,
yeah.
I wonder if that's really true. Why are they saying
I'm just
that?
a nosy bitch. People need to say that, and I go, is that true? In my head, I'm going, now let's get. And then I've gone down in my head in a hole like deep and dirty as to where that's come from. And
absolutely,
sometimes it's not good knowing all this stuff.
No, I know. You dissect everything.
It's just literally one word, and you've dissected a whole 20 years worth of trauma.
But that's it. One word can change so much in so many ways. One word.
That's the thing, isn't it?
Mm.
I had this random thought the other day. Fucking scary. I know. But with the English language, right? You think they'd say it's not the hardest language to learn. They reckon Mandarin Chinese is. I can understand that. But the English language has the most words to learn.
Right.
Okay? But if you think things like wandering, okay? It can be spelt 2 different ways and means 2 different things.
How we ever learn to read, I don't know.
That's what I thought. And the word read. So you think of the word read.
Mm-hmm.
How many meanings does that have?
Yeah.
It's spelt the same way,
yeah,
but it has several different meanings.
Yeah.
And I just think, where was I going with that?
Don't know.
I'll leave it for now. But just how that does, like you say, sentences or words we say has many different things. So what it would mean to you might mean something different to me in a sentence.
There's that whole video, isn't there, about the word fuck?
Oh, God.
And the many, many meanings.
Yes.
Of how you say it, what it means, what you put it next to.
Yeah.
The same word.
It's just the same word.
So many different things. And yeah.
But it is, isn't it?
Honestly, if you've not seen that video, go search it
you
down.
can find it on YouTube. I can't remember the guy. Is it?
I can't think what he's called.
Sahandra or something.
Something like that.
But
yeah.
He's
It's so funny.
Is he a monk or something?
It's something like that, isn't he?
But anyway, it's flipping hilarious. It is hilarious. But again, isn't it? I know we've shared it before on a post, but it's the word shit in it. Like shit happens.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit?
Who gives a shit? Yeah, funny enough, I was reading that again the other day. It's just hilarious.
But it is, but it's true. It's one word.
Yeah.
But the way you put it means so many different things.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether that's
good and bad.
Yes.
For both of those words.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's it, isn't it?
Yeah. It's so funny. But we do that a lot with the British English language.
And I don't know whether it's the same in other languages.
I don't know.
But it just made me think about when we speak and say things, how many different meanings that can have depending on who's in the room and who you're saying it to.
Yeah, and also it made me think then when you were talking about that in other languages, sorry, butted in, do you remember we were listening to that TED talk with that woman about language?
Oh, yeah.
And they were talking about bridges, but in one language, a bridge is masculine, so they see it as strong.
Yes. Oh, yes.
And then in another language, it's feminine, and they look at it as, I can't remember what they looked at it. So in those 2 different languages or cultures, it's viewed differently because of it being like a masculine or feminine word.
Yeah.
I have to find that because that was really interesting, actually, wasn't it?
Yeah.
how then it's seen totally different just because of how so it's got to be something like that in other languages if that happens, then, isn't it?
Yeah, but we don't have that, like the masculine,
We don't have the
masculine and feminine.
yeah.
We just have one word that means 5 different things, even though it's spelt the same way.
Yeah.
Which must be really confusing for people.
Well, I never know. I when we were doing lockdown, I was doing spellings with my granddaughter, and I was like, "What? How the hell do I teach her to spell that? Because I see it and say it. It's like it's not even anything like spelling it."
No, that's the thing, isn't it? You know. Right. What we'll do is we'll find those YouTube videos and we'll put them on the bottom of this podcast, so that you can remind me. Don't let me forget.
Okay.
That's
She's asking me.
That's
that's
what I said we'd do. We'd put the links to the two YouTube to that TED talk and like the
TED talk was really interesting.
The fuck one, just because it'll make you giggle.
Yeah.
On there, so we need to find that, and I'll put them in the bottom so you can watch them
on the page as well. Actually.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Facebook page.
We'll do that too. Yeah. Right. If we don't do that, people, you need to remind us that we said. Well, I'm now absolving me and Tracy of all responsibility and putting it onto you. What could do with me? It was their fault. I told them to do it.
See, there's so much you can do with this language stuff.
Exactly, isn't it? Should we leave these gorgeous folk to it?
Yeah, I think we better have to just mushing on today.
Have a fabulous rest of your day. Bye. So much for listening to Chatting Bollocks and Ball with Lynn and Tracy.
If you would like to see or hear more of us, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or of course by subscribing to the podcast.
If you share this podcast with others, you will make 2 old birds very happy. And finally, if you want more bollocks and bull in your life,
and who wouldn't,
then sign up to our newsletter. The link is in the show notes.
That's all, folks.
Love ya!